How y'all doing today? Today we have a special interview that we're going to do. I've got my brother here, Brandon. If you've been following the Bible studies, you've seen his face, you heard his voice, but now we've got him here in the flesh. And I just wanted to do like a Q&A / interview style conversation because this brother is 18 years old and he has a testimony, he has a story, and I just want people to hear it. And so, how you doing today, brother?
I'm okay, just living life, trying to make it through, going through the motions. That's about it.
All right, first question. Can you give us just a bit of your background, your testimony, and how you came to the Lord?
Yeah. Okay, so 2003, I was born in Waukegan, Illinois. And then from there, grew up in the Lake County area, for anybody who knows about that. I didn't grow up the best, definitely not the worst either, though, so I'm grateful for that. And I had a rough childhood. I had a really rough childhood, rough family problems, drug addicts, alcoholics, crime, violence around me. And growing up, just seeing that, it doesn't bring you close to God. It doesn't bring you near to God. So eventually, I left home at 13, and I moved in with my grandmother, who forced me to go to church. If you're living under that roof, you're gonna go to church, and so I did. I sat in the back, didn't do nothing good. Still wasn't doing nothing good outside church neither. So eventually, I went to a church camp. And I feel like that's really where I got saved. I was at a church camp, and I always struggled with God because I felt like all the bad things happening to me, if God was real, He wouldn't let them happen to me. But I understand that that's part of the path that God chose for me. And I didn't realize that till later. I still didn't realize it then, but I got saved at that church camp somewhere in Indiana. And ever since, I've been trying my best for God. Not always succeeding, but trying my best.
And how old are you again? You 18?
I'm 18 years old.
And you were born in what year?
2003.
Ooh, Jesus, you young. All right, at this church camp, what were some of the things that sort of prompted you into taking that next step? What did you experience, and what was that time like there? If you could share a little bit.
So that church camp was, it was protected. You could feel it. It was spiritually protected because all the men and women of God who were around, like all the outside problems, they were being fought against, and all the outside demons and spiritual warfare could not enter. It could not get in. You're in a protected environment. It's really like one giant temple. And so the Spirit of the Lord is so heavy and so present that everybody's issues, good, bad, just being targeted, blessings are being thrown around, dropped from the sky practically. And that's where I found God. Right there somewhere in the woods of Indiana.
Man, it's like that at times. I'm sure you didn't have your phone.
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did, but I wouldn't have even needed it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. It was it's so powerful, and it still is. Church camps. There's so many men and women of God. Like I said, it's just protected. Everyone feels safe, and the Spirit of the Lord is so heavy. There's no way you can get around it or deny it unless you choose to.
Started your journey of leaving the house at 13.
Yeah.
Where did you go when you left the house?
It's my grandmother's house.
And your grandma, did she officially adopt you, or you just stayed there temporarily, or how did that work out?
So I was technically living illegally with her for 2 years. And that's good now because I got my papers and everything.
So I didn't get to do that, sorry.
But nah, so eventually she got guardianship of me.
Okay.
And like I said, at first I was being forced to go to church, and then it was my choice to go to church, and I started making that myself.
I got you.
And my choice to let God in.
Your relationship with your family, it was you, your mother, and who else when you left?
My stepfather.
Okay. How would you explain that dynamic?
Horrible.
Okay.
My mother wasn't really there. I sort of felt like I raised myself. My stepfather wasn't fond of me, although I give them both props because they tried. For the problems and the wars and battles that they were facing, they tried. I just left fighting a lot of them on my own, or so I thought.
But thank you for sharing that more transparent aspect of your life. Hopefully, those that are listening, they could take heed. Look, the brother, when you start to hear his story, right, it's not over right there. Like, the man's got an entire story, but we needed to allow that foundation to be set. So Now that we've got a clear picture of your foundation, let's start with some of the first few battles that you had as a man of God. So now you're growing. You're 30, older than 13. You're starting to face these spiritual battles. Can you start listing out some of the first few battles that you had after giving your life to Christ? And can you also explain that moment when you officially decided to say, "Here I am, Lord"?
So some of the first few battles I was facing were definitely my past demons. The way I would describe it is that my past sort of broke my soul, and I felt so empty. I was looking for something to fill that, and constantly searching for things to fill that. And going through high school now, looking for that, it's not a healthy dynamic. That was definitely the first big battle I started facing. And then me personally, I just always felt like attack after attack after attack from the devil came. I was just barely surviving it.